So it has been a hot Kentucky Fried Minute since we have last talked, and a lot has happened in that time. I'll fill you in on all of that, or you can just get ahead of the game and go over to God's Perfect Size and learn about it there. But since we have last hung out, I have moved to the country-ish. I used to live like right outside of DC, you knew that, but now we moved about an hour and some change south, and so I'm basically a farm girl, y'all. A farm girl without a farm who's actually scared of animals. I love them. I just don't know that I could muck them and feed them and care for them the way I should, because I don't have any animals, and actually I live in an HOA, so they frown upon that sort of thing, so no cows for me. But I want to show you, I have an experimental garden. Come on. Okay, don't mind the pool who is losing her undergarment. Her girdle is just slipping, and we have fixed it like 3 times and keep filling it with water. I'm giving up on the pool. I'm giving up. It's an above ground pool, and it's doing what it does, but it's doing everything but pooling the water like I need it to. So we'll see if that remains on our little land here. Let's start here. Like I said, I don't know anything about gardening. I know zero. I know you put some seeds in the dirt and things grow. And I say a little prayer as I walk by them. So it really is experimental for me. And when I get a chance, I will take a deep dive into all things gardening. But for now, here I call this Berry Alley. So here is a raspberry plant. I purchased that somewhere. You can come on in, come closer. So I purchased that sometime, I think in May, and so here she is looking glorious. That's my little raspberry plant. Here's a blackberry. Everything in the world has been eating all the berries, and so I just kind of draped this over it. So you'll see a couple blackberries remaining. I picked yesterday, so there are no more on her. And then blueberry. Oh my gosh. I get like 2 blueberries and the birds get the rest. So this is my little blueberry bush, and there's some, oh look, I have a snack in here. So I'll let those get a little bit bigger, or I'll just keep feeding my little feathered friends, because they seem to be really happy with it. Over here we have another, I think this is blueberry, and inside of this blueberry, I got this cutting for a peppermint plant, and I shoved it in there because, well, I didn't want to think about it. I just needed a spot to put her in for the moment. So I got peppermint growing in here with this blueberry, which has never fruited. I don't even know what kind it is or what's wrong with it, but I'll take care of her, because once you make it to here, I'm going to be your caregiver for life. I believe this is another blackberry plant. It had a bigger stalk that broke in the storm, and so we lost that portion of it. Actually, we sang a little sad song for her, lost all the fruit, and so the bigger one died, and so it's there just to become back part of the earth. This right here, I would love some advice, because this is I think it's a gala apple tree, and it's on a dwarf root stalk. I ordered that online, and you can see the beetle damage, so I don't even know how to stop the beetles from eating on her, but she doesn't do much. Like, this is the newest part of her, but she hasn't done much, and I don't know if she'll get an apple. She'll give us an apple one day, maybe. All right, so I told you my gardening is very experimental. So what I mean by that is I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Not a clue. I just keep putting stuff in the ground and seeing what happens, and I don't even know what belongs together. I learned recently that there should be like some type of companion planting, and the only one I really knew about was marigolds help with insects, so I just put some marigold plants in. But we'll see. Over here we have this is dill. I put thyme in, but it didn't come up. Apparently thyme had no time for me. Ha ha ha. Pun intended. But this is my basil, and the thyme never came up, but the dill, she got a little sun scorched, because like I said, it's been hot out in these streets. It's been real hot, and so she just been frying in the sun, kind of like me. Over here I have some medicinal herbs that are growing. This is called Ellen Campaign, I think, and it's for congestion, I wrote on there. And so we got some babies, y'all. This over here is another cutting a friend gave me. This is chocolate mint, which I didn't know was a real thing, but that's a chocolate mint, and so I just shoved her in some dirt, and we'll see what happens. Come on, keep coming. Over here, I'm pretty sure these are weeds. I'm nearly positive those are weeds. And so they're just growing up. But over here, this is calendula. These are some calendula. And over here, these are some baby, what do you call it? Chamomile. Chamomile. I don't know. Pick one. That's what we're growing here. So that is there. And then I have some other seeds that are coming up. I put some bergamot in, but nothing came up. I put lavender in. I ended up buying a plant because nothing came up, and that one's in my kitchen. And then over here, I put some yarrow in. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a weed, but I think these are baby yarrows coming up because of the leaf shape. So we might have some yarrow soon, and I plan to use a lot of these in skincare and medicinal medicines for my family. And then here's the most experimental part, which I'm most excited about, this big old box. Let me show you this box. My husband was like, what in the world? And when we moved here, we had one of those push lawnmowers. Y'all, I nearly passed away trying to cut the grass with that thing. And so we ended up having to get a real lawnmower. So we got a Greenworks, I don't know, whatever. All I know is it's self-propelled, and so it helps me mow the grass and helps my husband. But when we had this amazing box, I was like, why would we not use this box? So I filled it with some dirt, and I put potatoes in a couple, like 2 months ago, maybe 2 months and a week. And these have been growing here, and recently they all just kind of laid down, and it looks like they're kind of dying. We have there's a flower over here. You'll notice that some of the flowers are missing because nobody warned me about these big green fat things that look like caterpillars, like overweight caterpillars hanging out on it, eating my plant away. And so I did what a self-respecting gardener would do. I screamed, and then I cut off the entire piece of the plant and just chucked the little green things over the fence. I didn't want to kill them. They got a second chance. I wish them the best of luck out there in the woods, but they couldn't stay here. And so I chucked them over the fence and let them fend for themselves. But so we had some of that damage going on. Now come on over here to where I have some more things. I try not to roll down the hill. Look at how dry it's been here, y'all. It's just the ground is cracked, and it's been really hot. Like some temperatures in the 90s and 100s. So it's been a scorcher. But let's go. Let's start over here. This is one of my babies. This is my fig tree I bought at Lowe's. I don't think she's gonna fig this year, but she is doing okay. And she did have some damage, some kind of rust happening on her leaves early on. And I made a solution with some water and peroxide because I found out that might help her. So I put that on her, and I've done it twice, and it's so far holding. And then don't disregard the old pool liner. I told you she was losing her undergarments. So we have the old one that we got to send out, and the new one, which still is not staying up. So over here, I'll go along the fence. We have these grapes. I just put them in. I didn't know if they needed sun or shade or whatever, or partial sun and shade, so I just kind of did that. But we put grape plants along here because in my vision, there will just be grapes growing along the fence. I just think it would be such a beautiful thing to have all these grapes winding along the fence and be able to come out and pick them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a fifth one way over there in the sun because I want to see who does better, the ones in the partial sun or the ones in full sun. And so I'll take you over there. Now turn your attention to here. Listen, I know you've never seen a structure like this, and that's okay. Because after we bought the house and got in the house, we decided we were going to use whatever materials we had lying around and to help support our plants. And so my husband was creative and made these little things that the tomatoes could grow up in. And so this is a structure he kind of put together, wired together, has the wire running down into the ground, and it was free. Okay, it was, well, maybe not free, but it was paid for long ago. So these are some materials that we had in the garage. And so I believe this is quarter round that when you're putting flooring down, he just kind of chopped it up and used it and made something with it. I like his ingenuity. It saves me money. So these are, I want to say these are those Super Sweet 100s. That's what all of these are. And then I've been kind of taking the leaves off the bottom. If they show any kind of damage or any kind of like disease, I just take the leaves off and move them out of the bed and chuck them over into our pile, not compost, but our pile over there in the woods that we're not going to use again. So over here, you're going to find a lot of little plants, and you might be like, girl, what is that? And I'm going to be like, girl, I don't know, because I don't. I just sometimes walk out here with seeds and shove them in the dirt when I see a blank spot, and I don't label it. So you'll see, if you look down here, you'll see, I have no idea what these are. I have no idea. So I'm going to be surprised when they grow up. I have some, apparently I was just on a kick, and I have some here and some here, don't know what they are. I figured out this is probably a full-size tomato. I shoved those in the ground, and we'll see what they look like when they come up. So there's that. And then over here, you're going to see, what else do I have? Oh, over here in the tomato bed, you're going to see some onions at the end of that bed. So tomatoes over there in the middle, and then onions. And then over here, this says kale and bok choy, which, I don't know, take your pick, but they're coming up. I don't know if it's the season, the time. It just sounded fun, and so I shoved them in the ground. This right here is an onion that I ate. I pulled up one of these and ate the greens off of it, and I shoved it back in the dirt because I was done, and I figured it could serve me again, so I put it back in the dirt. And then over here, there is a marigold coming up in between all the tomatoes right here. This is the most experimental bed of all. Let's just take a look at it. I basically don't know what anything is in this bed. And this is like the overflow bed. You notice there's no labeling, nothing. So this was a watermelon plant that was in trouble, and it was dying, and then it kind of resuscitated itself, and I put it in the bed to keep going, and it's just been growing happily here. So it was in ground, and I think the in-ground growing, she was like, listen, girl, there are no nutrients in this dirt. And so she was dying, and I had another one that was dying. I shoved it in the bed. I tried to sprout parsnips, and I didn't see anything for a long time. So I'm wondering if these are parsnips right here. But it's probably, I don't know, I could be wrong. There's some grass, but I could be wrong. I don't know what they are, but they're growing. They're finally growing. This looks like a flower seed that I put in. I don't know what kind of flower. We'll figure it out. These, I think, were beets. I think I buried them too deep, so they never did do the beating. And then I think this is a pepper of some type. What type, I don't know. There's some kind of gunk on it. Oh, that's one of those little moths. I don't like them because I think those are the ones that lay the fat babies and that eat all my plants. But there's that. Another basil. You're going to see a lot of basil just tucked in throughout. So basil, I think another pepper, another flower, another marigold, and then, listen, this right here. I saw a YouTube video where you can take like pinto beans and put them in the ground, or black beans, like black turtle beans or whatever, put them in the ground. So I tried it. This is a pinto bean plant that I was making pinto beans for dinner, and I just grabbed a handful of the beans, put the beans in the dirt to see what would happen. I told you it's very experimental out in these streets. She came up, and then this one came up. So we're going to see what happens with these beans when they grow up. This is, some people call it a weed. You'll see this common plantain plant. My friend says it's good for healing and also for mosquito bites. So it's a weed. But to me, it's not a weed. It's medicine. And so I put it in there, and that's being nourished and growing. Let's move over to, this is also another bed. There's a little more labeling happening here because I was starting to get a clue. So over here, not much though, don't get excited. Another dill plant. I really want a forest of dill because I love dill. So dill, look at this, guys. There's a bell pepper. She's growing. And actually we got this one. I didn't start this from seed. This entire bed over here that you just saw was from seed. This one has a few plants from the store. I think this came from Lowe's. So this pepper plant didn't have any peppers on it or flowers. It just looked healthy, so we put it in, and now she has a bell pepper. Flower of some type, I think right here. Carrots, lettuce from seed, another basil plant, and over here I put in something called chervil. I forget, I don't know what it does, but I put it in. Over here, I have another marigold plant, dill, some more basil, some oregano, dill over there. And then I have some lemon thyme. I think this is the lemon, no, lemon balm, not thyme, lemon balm in there. And I'll use those for herbs. Here, cucumbers. These are like salad slicer cucumbers. They're really short and stunted. I don't know. If they're supposed to look like that. I don't know. But they're there. And then I have, I think, another cucumber. All of these did well. This one has been lagging. So we'll see what happens. These are California red sweet peppers. Bok choy is coming up. I don't think it's the season, but we're going to see what happens. And then over here we have some cabbage. This one is not doing so well. Those two are doing great, so I'll just move one of those when the time comes. Over here we have squash. I don't know what types of squash. I think I have butternut going on, another structure my husband invented, but some butternut squash. And then I think acorn squash, butternut squash. We'll see how those do. And I think I'm supposed to pop off some of the flowers after they're pollinated. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think you guys can let me know if you're supposed to leave one or two on the vine so that the plant is not overwhelmed with production. Yeah, and then over here, keep coming. We have tomato, red lettuce. Been pulling off of that regularly for salads for dinner. One eggplant. My husband likes it. The rest of us, meh, but my husband likes it. This was the second watermelon. I don't even know what kind of watermelon it is. And then these are cantaloupes, some kind of cantaloupe. And so they're just kind of spilling out of the bed. So I got to figure out what to put under this. Probably some weed netting. Strawberries. I don't know if cucumbers and strawberries can be in the same bed, but they are. So strawberries here. I didn't think we'd see anything this year. And then, so strawberries and then cucumber. And this thing is massive. Like, this thing has a mind of its own. Come take a look over here. This thing is just going where it wants to go, and I'm just here for it, letting it do what it does best. I'm sure I should probably trim it, cut some pieces back so that it's not putting so much into leaf production. It sounds reasonable. I'm just going to let it do what it does. I come home from work, I look at it, and I go, good job. Over here is another squash. I think this is called a banana squash. I had two big pumpkins here, but they got eaten. So both those plants are gone. And then I don't remember what that is. I don't remember. It looks similar, so it must be in the squash family. And then over here, I did green beans, some type of green bean. And if you look, guys, I have real green beans. Oh my gosh. And that's so exciting. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 of those green beans. This is I think a black bean that I just pulled out of a bag from the grocery store. And then these are all, there's a tomato, all beans. 2 rows of pinto beans that I got from from the bag in the store that I had in my pantry, and 2 rows of the black beans. Never have I grown that. I didn't do any research. I don't know what's going to happen if I'll actually get beans, but I'm excited to see what happens. And then over here I threw in some beet seeds. You can see with the reddish stems, I threw in some beet seeds, and so we'll see if we get any beets. I love beets. I love like pickled beets. Those are one of my favorites. And then my husband wanted to see what would happen if we put corn in. And so this one has like 2 coming out of the same spot, so I'll separate those out. You'll see that in a future video, and then it'll grow in its own space. But yeah, we had more corn. I put 5 in each row, 2 seeds of each, but this one came up, these 2 came up, that one came up. We had 2 more, but I think something ate them, so they're gone. So that is an overview. Take a look. That is an overview of my yard and my wannabe farming. And so maybe not. I don't know about officially farming, but this is an overview of what I got going on, and I'll keep you posted on the progress. There's a few more things I need to show you, but for today I think that's enough, and I will bring you back to the garden, but probably early next week. I'll bring you to see the progress in the garden. Until then, y'all, thank you for joining me forward with some updates on the changes in my life, from my work to where I'm living, what I'm doing, and what's going to happen with God's perfect size. all the tea is coming your way. So I'll talk to you then. Bye.